which is good. So why don't we get things started? How's it going, everyone in chat? I'm Steven from the Armed Gamer, which I'm sure most of you already know. With me today is Nieuwoudt. He's a developer at Tailtale Games. Where are you guys located now?
That's pretty complicated. We pretty much like spread it all across the world. I'm in Switzerland currently, but like we have a developer literally in every continent.
Okay, nice. And yes, I have cut my hair, Alex. He's currently working on the game called Novus Aeterno, which
Yeah.
is an MMORTS indie title. Currently has a Kickstarter up, which was it today or last night? You guys surpassed your funding goal.
Last night we were fully funded.
Nice.
Actually, like 24 hours ago. Exactly this time, pretty much 24 hours ago.
That's actually really cool. So let me go ahead and get myself logged in here. I have failed to log in. What did I do wrong? Alright. There we go. Login successful. I just fucked up my password. So, yeah.
I was panicking. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, no, that was totally a password thing. So this right here is character creation. I'm going to show you guys everything from the beginning. Coolies, man, that's not a camera. That's just a picture of him. He doesn't have his webcam on, so I'm just showing you all the picture of him and who he is in the upper left-hand corner. I'm, of course, a video. So this is character creation, I believe, and right now it looks like you guys have one race, correct?
Yeah, right now just the human race is in game. We will be adding in the other races, and you see like you can click on the tabs left and right of the human race, and you'll see where the other races will be going in. But at the moment they are not. Some of them are still in really early development, and some of them are still a bit buggy and are not fully ready to be implemented in. But the Varanus race will be the first one to go in, and they're pretty far along. We just need to get all the artwork done for them, and that will be a stretch goal on Kickstarter that will be soon after the capital ships. Which, at the rate we're going, we're going to have the capital ship stretch goal met in probably like a day or two, and it's pretty cool.
Nice. So the capital ships is your 100,000 stretch goal?
Yep. And
Alright.
we're already at like 83, almost 84, so we're not doing bad, not at all.
Nice. Now, is there any difference between here? I can pick consoles. Is there any difference between that, or is it just like what my avatar
No,
looks
it's,
like?
it's just your avatar.
Okay, cool. So I'll just go with this helmet guy and move on. So username is Gamer. Starting galaxy. Is there only one galaxy right now?
Yep. There's
Alright.
just the one galaxy right now.
Yep, I believe that's Germany. So let's create that. And continue. Let's enter the game and see what this looks like. So, now, I spoke with you back in April of 2012, I believe, was when we first spoke and, like, checked it out. So what's changed for you guys since then? Like, what have you done?
A lot of stuff. First thing you'll notice that the first thing you see on the game is a planetary surface, which we didn't have before. What that is that here you build your building, you have all your base building taking place here on the surface of the planet, and we'll also be adding in the ground combat on the planets and stuff like that eventually. That will also be a stretch goal on Kickstarter. At the moment, ground combat is still just statistics based, like how many units you have versus how many units the enemy units have. But you can select your buildings where you want to place them and all that stuff, and you have to think a little bit about that. And we've added a whole lot to the combat. We've redone all the interfaces. And we've just added a lot of stuff everywhere, honestly.
Okay, nice.
Unfortunately, right now, the research system, which we've also added, has a bug in it. So we deactivated it on the Infiltrator server because we have quite a lot of alpha testers on, and they kept on, like, we found a crash in there that we're fixing now. But otherwise, I'm not able to show you research working in the game right now, which kind of sucks because it looks awesome.
Alright, one thing I'm having issue with right now is I can't enter the game. I have my thing created, but the continue button isn't grayed out. Is there a lag issue, or?
No, it shouldn't be allowed. Let me just check right now.
Alright.
In hindsight, I really should have told it. I just realized I forgot to tell everyone that like I was redoing a live stream. So I'm not sure if someone like accidentally like was patching the server and restarted and stuff, in which case it'll be up momentarily.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. You guys are in beta, so I don't, it'd
Early
be
alpha,
silly to
early
expect
alpha.
things. Oh, early alpha it is, okay.
Yeah.
Let me change the title then, because I have you listed as a beta.
No, we are actually in early alpha. There's still quite a bit to do. I mean, it is very playable, but there is still quite a bit we need to get done.
Yeah, and you guys launched your infiltrator program last June, correct?
Yes. And we started letting people in slowly since then.
Okay.
And so far, it's been doing really great.
That is awesome. So, let me try logging back in again, seeing what happens. If not, I'll just exit the program, start it back up again, and see what happens. But yeah, I think when we last spoke, how many developers did you have then, and have you guys grown at all since then, or stayed the same?
We have probably grown a bit. We're at about 25 people now. I think we were at about like 18 then. So we have grown with a couple more developers, and we've got a few more, a little bit more of everything. But we've also, a lot of the progress has been made on the game, and I'm not sure why the hell the servers aren't up right. I think that someone was updating the servers and like just didn't tell me. It's one of the problems with the international team. Is like it's not like everyone's in the office together, so someone can just shout down the hallways, "Hey, I'm updating the servers." Which is a bit annoying at times.
I can imagine, but that happens.
It does. It's one of the fun things about being an indie. Everything always breaks.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so you guys for a while relied almost exclusively on angel investors and friends and family. Why did you guys decide to come to Kickstarter?
Well, we were in negotiations with a publisher for a while. And for a while, I mean like almost a year. And at the very end, like it was down to us and one other game. They were really excited about this. I mean, their game review team loved us and everything, and it came down to just us and one other game. And in the end, they decided on the other game because the other game there was more comparables on the market and stuff like that. And that's when I really realized, I mean, it makes sense. I can understand they wouldn't want to invest in a game that doesn't have comparables. They don't know if there are actually people who would like this kind of game. They don't have this kind of information. And most investors are quite, publishers are quite risk adverse. So they'll only want to invest in something that they know there is a market for and people will like. And that's when I kind of realized that, okay, not only did we not get that money and we really needed it, but in addition to that, like, we probably weren't going to get any money from a publisher. Just because this problem isn't a problem with that one specific publisher. We were going to run into this with every single publisher we spoke to. And it was kind of like that any moment where we don't have enough money to pay our rents and stuff, we're like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? And then we were like, okay, well, let's give Kickstarter a try. I tried to avoid it as much as possible. Because I feel like Kickstarter, it's a great thing, but I didn't want to go on it unless we really needed it. Because there's a lot of other projects that wouldn't have gotten done without it. And I felt like until we reached the point where we would not be able to release unless we went on Kickstarter, I didn't really want to. I mean, I felt like there was other projects that also wouldn't have been released. And if I could figure out a way to make it another way, then both of us would be able to come out instead of like taking from someone else. So I tried to kind of avoid it, and then eventually we did reach the point where we had no other choice, and that's when we went on Kickstarter.
Okay, nice. Now, one of your backers just spoke in chat real fast. He said he's super excited about the game. Do you have any plans to introduce terrain to the galaxy? From other streams, the game seems to be just a grid of different stars. Terrain is one of the most critical parts of introducing strategy and tactics, and it would be a shame if you missed out on this.
We are going to be introducing terrain. It will be one of our stretch goals. One of the main things about the way that the strategy in the game works is that due to all the complications with the directional armor of ships, the different weapons, different abilities, and the customizable AI, you'll actually find it's a lot different when you watch someone else play it than when you actually play it. Okay, you should be able to get in-game right now.
Alright, let me try again and see what I get. I click continue, I hear the thunder, and it's just chilling there right now.
Wait one sec. Okay, I'm just speaking to the devs right now. I think someone was updating the gameplay server right now.
Alright, should I relaunch the patcher and try to update that?
No, it'll just take me 1 second. I'll get someone to restart it and put it back online.
Okay, cool. And sorry, people in chat right now. For some reason, my chat is unable to connect to you guys. So if you're typing anything, hold off for a second. I'll let you all know when it's back up for me. and I'll relay your questions.
Yeah, to finish off the answer to that question, we will be adding in terrain. We already have it all designed out and how we want to do it right now. We just don't have the immediate cash to start development on that, which is why we're going to be adding in as a pretty soon stretch goal. And yeah, but we will be working on terrain. We do understand that is something we are missing and something we do really want to add into the game.
All right, good times. So you know, you guys had a really warm reception at was it PAX East in 2012? Have you guys gone to other conventions since then, and how's your reception been there?
PAX East 2012. We went to PAX Prime 2012, and we also went to Gamescom in Germany, and both of those were actually at PAX Prime 2012. We walked away with some pretty cool awards. We walked away with like Best RTS, Most Innovative Game, and a couple of runners up. And so that was really well received. And then Gamescom, we spent a lot more time in like the business area, speaking to publishers and stuff. And but we also had a lot of really good. The game was really well received there, but not as much by the fans and the public, because for people who have only been to PAX and haven't been to Gamescom, it's very much an industry convention. You have just massive people who are like massive studios are spending just way too much money on marketing budgets, and like the indies kind of get completely lost. Where like PAX is all about all the indies and stuff. Mm-hmm. But we actually met a lot of really cool people. For example, one of the people who I met who got on the game and actually enjoyed it quite a bit and has now turned into a friend is Lou Castle, who is the co-founder of Westwood, you know, the creators of Red Alert and Command and Conquer. And that was cool to me. Like, he is like my childhood hero. I love those games. That was the games that got me into strategy games in the first place. Mm-hmm. I just spoke to the guys right now. They were in the middle of updating the area server, so it'll be up again shortly. I'll tell you as soon as it's back up.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, hey, my chat room's finally back up, guys. So there we go. Something about Illinois now. But if you guys in this Twitch chat have any questions, feel free to ask them starting now. Whoever asked the terrain question, anything after you, I didn't see. So yeah, guys. Also, there is a Kickstarter campaign that they're currently running. I don't know if you guys are aware or not. I'm just posting the link to it in chat. Go check it out. Back these guys. Full disclosure, I backed you, I think, for 35.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. So, yeah, let me try to get back into the game. I just tried to repatch the patch or whatever it is. So, if things are up, just let me know and I'll get in.
I'll try. It should be up shortly. I'm just waiting for confirmation saying that it's back up.
Alright. Yeah, see, the guy who asked the terrain question also said, terrain is more about developing the grand strategic game, not the tactical, so I don't feel like it would interfere with the moment-to-moment gameplay. Great to hear that's a stretch goal. Keep up the great work.
Now, the other important thing about terrain, and one of the reasons why terrain we feel it is an important thing to add in, but the more important thing actually is a lot of the terrain that is like that you need to be careful about, stuff that like blocks your radar, will do damage to your ships if you move through it, stuff like that, also typically holds a lot of good resources. So the same stuff you're going to want to try and avoid is what you're going to want to chase after and find to be able to mine it. So pretty much almost all the terrain in the game will have that kind of like double-edged sword where yes, it is really dangerous, yes, you want to try and avoid it, but at the same time, if you do manage to mine it successfully, there'll probably be quite a lot of cool resources involved in it.
That's really cool. And I remember back for a while you guys were saying possibility of doing a PvE sort of events where like one group is trying to escort a ship while another clan or PvP area is trying to attack the ship. So it's PvP turned PvP or PvE
yes.
turned PvP. Are you guys still planning on doing that?
Yes. Oh yeah, we are doing that. We already have a lot of the systems in place for that. And also, one thing that we actually have changed since then is we upped it to the next level. Whereas the whole point of that was like these missions that the NPC factions would give. But what we've expanded to the next level and said, well, why actually not give the players even more control of that? Where we really made the NPC factions almost as if they were players in the game, and they have their own empires in the same way they can capture and they can lose planets, and the players who work with them are almost like their allies. And we are actually giving the players the ability to completely wipe an NPC race off of the face of the map if they want to.
Oh, wow.
And if there's enough players who really are trying to destroy that NPC race, and there's not enough that are trying to support it, that's what'll end up happening. The NPC race will slowly be getting beaten back and beaten back. Now, obviously, the more beaten back they get, the more desperate they get, and the better rewards they'll offer for to try and get other players to help defend them and help support them. But we're actually leaving that system completely dynamic and up to the players. I mean, to see, we may find that the players they really don't like one of the NPC races and end up just wiping it straight off the face of the galaxy.
Okay, nice. Now, you guys have been compared to a combination of StarCraft and EVE Online. Would you call that a fair comparison, or is that something you want to shy away from just because that has its own baggage?
Honestly, I don't mind the comparison. Yeah, of course it has its own badges and all its own issues and stuff that come with it. But I feel like it gives people a kind of a generic idea about the game, because the human mind works best on comparisons and referencing things we already know, and that's probably the closest comparison. It doesn't explain us perfectly, but it's about the closest comparison that you can get before you get into actually going into whole pages and long explanations about what we are. Please don't be as hard to learn as EVE. We really are not. Now, the most important thing about this that I have to say that makes the learning curve of this game actually really fun and easy is the unit AI. We actually have designed a whole system that allows players to completely customize their unit AI. So, for example, the units in Novus are pretty complicated. Not only do they have directional armor, they have fire arts, they also have activatable abilities and all sorts of stuff like that. So if you think about that level of complexity, and then that you have 100, 200, 300 ships on your screen, it sounds complicated as hell. But we have actually a fully customizable AI where you can go tweaking it to do more what you want. So it will activate the activatables when you want it to. It will kind of manage your fleet as you want it, and it will do the micromanagement for you. And then as you get better in the game, as you are able to micromanage more, as you see what the AI does, you can go tweaking it to fit more your playstyle, and you can also be taking more responsibility from the AI onto you. But because we leave it up to we give the player the full ability to customize every element of the AI, it allows a lot more freedom to kind of support your playstyle. And if you're not really into combat, if you're not good at micromanagement, then focus your AI into dealing with the micromanagement elements, and you'd more deal with the grand tactics of the game.
Okay, that sounds really cool. Now, have you heard anything about the servers yet?
They're still getting it up right now. Apparently,
Okay.
one of our server engineer just set them to update and then walked off to get food or something. It will be beaten mercilessly for this.
Oh, the fun of indie development. Yeah, it happens. Again, people in chat, I see there are 22 of you. I'm Steven from The Armed Gamer. With me in a call right now is Nieuwoudt. He's a developer at Tailtale Studios, sorry, for Novus Aeterno, which is an upcoming MMORTS. As soon as our servers are back up, I'm going to hop into the game. You guys will get to see the gameplay, check it out. They currently have a Kickstarter campaign up. Last I checked, you guys have 83,000 raised. Probably more by now.
Possibly. I'm not. It goes up. Yeah, we were at 82,000 when we started the call. Now we're at 83,500.
Okay,
it goes
nice.
up pretty fast.
Yeah. No, you guys are doing fantastic. Now, you had to launch the Kickstarter campaign earlier this month for, I believe it was originally $200,000, and you kind of you got a new investor, so you were able to relaunch the campaign with a lower goal.
Yep, we launched originally. We launched originally with because we do need 200,000 to finish the core elements of the game. But luckily, due to our success, due to how much interest we got on Kickstarter and how dedicated our fans were to it, we actually attracted some new angel investors who got really excited about the game and saw how excited the fans were, and they came in for 125,000 in total, which allowed us to reduce the goal that we needed to only 75 and refocus the new Kickstarter campaign on more reaching stretch goals than just, I mean, the amount of work that Kickstarter requires isn't necessarily worth it for just 75,000, but it really gives us the ability to push through it and start getting a lot of these other features we really want to put into the game through stretch goals. For example, capital ships, which at this rate we should have enough funds for in a couple of days.
Nice.
And
now,
we'll be able to add in stuff like the trains, stuff like all these other elements of the game they really want to add into it, but we didn't have the fun in for externally.
Okay, now what would you say the lessons you learned were from when you first launched the campaign versus the relaunch?
Oh, I learned so many lessons. It wasn't even funny. I mean, it was. The first thing that I learned was that don't try and get complicated or sales pitchy. Like, in hindsight, we tried to make everything. We tried to get people excited about the game and talk about the awards we won and all this stuff and what people's reaction to the games was and all this stuff. And in hindsight, when I started looking back on it, we were getting a really bad conversion rate. Like, a lot of people saw the page and liked it and shared it on Facebook, but not that many people were actually backing the page. Mm-hmm. And I realized that we ended up talking so much about why the game is great. We didn't. We're so used to talking. We got so used talking because we hadn't been at a convention in a year. So we got so used talking to business people and publishers and stuff like that. We got so used to talking about why the game is great instead of just showing them the game. Like, everyone on Kickstarter, they're all gamers. We just show them the game and they'll see why it's great. They'll see why they like it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do. When we relaunched the campaign, I redid the entire page in 2 days just to explain what the game is. Not why it's great, not why it's unique, none of this crap, just what the game is at its core, and leave it up to the users. If they like what it is, awesome. We also made a lot more videos explaining different elements of the game, like going into detail in diplomacy and economics and the military elements of the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that all went over really well, and also we were really lucky that we got a new expansion to our art team, who is an art team in Lithuania who joined us, and they put together the kind of the teaser trailer that's the intro to our new Kickstarter video, and that just looks incredible, and that nice. Really helps. We gotta give shiny. We didn't have enough shiny in our old Kickstarter.
Yeah. Now, back in 2012, you said you guys weren't going to consider Kickstarter because Kickstarter was only accepting American companies at the time.
Yes.
Has that changed, or if you guys become an American
company? No, we
are
are not an American company, but Kickstarter has expanded their rules quite a bit, whereas now all you need is one representative of your company who is American or British, or Canadian, or from New Zealand. So you just need one, and due to the fact that, as we said, we have team members all over the world, we actually do have a couple team members in America as well. So due to this change, we can actually now launch Kickstarter, as the company doesn't need to be American, as long as you just have one person in America.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine that made things a lot easier for you guys. Oh, yeah. And how's your mascot doing, by the way? I believe you had a bunny that was part of your development team. The bunny is doing very good. Bunny was sick last week, but it's doing much better now. So we're all quite happy about that. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, no, the bunny is doing very good. Taken on regular walks by our lead 3D artist. But no, the bunny is doing very good.
All right. Now, okay. Sorry, did you hear anything back from the server yet, or?
Yeah, he should be turning, we've had a game of telephone. So I'm just speaking to one of my devs who spoke to another one of the devs who just spoke to him apparently that said that the lead server engineer is finishing the patch right now and the server should be up any minute.
Okay, awesome. So the way you guys have been running your infiltrator program, believe me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys have been getting people to your very early alpha based on their activity in the forums, so the people who are already talking about the game and really trying to add their own opinion and their experiences to the game in the forums. Those are the ones you brought in. Do you guys have plans to expand that out to a wider pool of people based on your backers in the future, or?
Well, we have already pretty much everyone who applied for the infiltrator program pre-Kickstarter has been now accepted. Okay. We started out first taking the most active members of our community and stuff like that, but now everyone who has applied up until before Kickstarter launch, the first one, has been accepted into the infiltrator program and is in-game playing and helping test and everything.
Okay, cool.
We will be the infiltrator program was an insane success though, We've gotten so much great feedback, and they're just so much more helpful than a typical alpha tester would be. And so due to that, we are actually going to be keeping the Infiltrator program even long after release, where the Infiltrators will be special members of the community that have access to the development server and are able to play on the development server and test out the new patches, playing with the devs and giving direct feedback on balancing, on bugs, and even ideas on how to improve the feature.
Alright, sounds good. And Twitch chat, sorry again, for some reason the chat window is super buggy today and going down on me.
I see one question that I can't answer. Someone asked you, they see a lot of stuff on the Kickstarter page about premium accounts. They want us, will it give a major advantage over non-premium? No, it won't. Premium account is primarily designed to support players who don't have as much time to play the game, but still don't want to like just fall behind too much. So premium account gives you stuff like longer offline build queues, email messaging if you get attacked while you're offline and stuff. Your fortress shields will never run out of energy while you're offline. So it's stuff that doesn't actually, like a really active competitive player, premium account really doesn't help them that much. I mean, it makes things a bit easier for them, but it really doesn't actually improve them or make them any more powerful. Whereas a player that really doesn't have that much time to play, it helps maintain his empire much better. And that's what it's kind of really focused at.
Oh, hey, I think I just got into the server.
You did? Oh, no, yeah. They said that it should have been up it should be up soon, so you should be looking at your planet surface once you're in.
Alright, let's see. I'm at a splash page. And it's loading. It's thinking about it. It's thinking really, really hard.
Someone compared it to the Age of Wushu premium accounts. I've never actually played Age of Wushu. Part of the downside of being an MMO developer is you only really have time to play your own MMO. So I can't really make a good comparison about whether it is or isn't.
Alright, looks like I am on my planet's surface right now. So, alright, where do things start?
Premium will cost $10 per month.
$10 per month for premium? Alright.
Yes.
And are you guys also planning on...
Premium isn't, it's optional. You're not required to use it. You're not required to get it. It just kind of helps you for those people who don't have as much time to play or who just want something that's a bit simpler and like have AI manage a few more elements of their empire.
Alright, so I'm currently staring at my planet's surface right now, and I can see already...
So what you want to do, on the right side of the screen, 2 or 3 buttons down, you'll see something that says...
build sector?
Build sector, yeah. Click on that.
Alright.
You're going to want to build a spaceport, a shipyard, a warehouse, a mine... I think that's it.
Alright.
So you open up a tab, then just double-click on the icon that you want to... of what kind of building you want to build. And then just click somewhere on the map of the game, and it will start construction of that facility.
Excellent. So, alright, I already see you guys are using a hex grid to kind of space things out.
Yep, and that also is part of supporting the future feature of having the ground combat. Like the different formations and military divisions will actually take up those hex grids. So it's kind of like a real-time combat version of like Civ 5 and stuff.
Alright, awesome. So let's see, I have the spaceport, the mine, shipyard you said?
Yep. And a factory. You probably build 2 factories. Now, when you build the first factory, instead of having to go on to select the build menu again, you can just hold down Control, no, Shift. And just hold down Shift or Control, and it'll allow you to build the same building a second time. Hit Shift, then Shift.
Alright, awesome.
So you can also like spam a couple of build orders in a row and stuff. Now, you'll notice at the top of your screen there's like a 5 out of 100. That is how many buildings your population on your planet can support versus how many buildings you have built. Now right now, as this is the development server, you start with a lot of resources, build times are drastically reduced, and you have maximum population on a planet. So in the future, like on the live servers, you'll only be able to build so many buildings, and as your population's growing on your planets, you'll be able to build more buildings.
Okay.
But so you'll have to like consider more like what do you want to focus your planets on. You're not going to be able to just build a lot of everything.
Right. Alright, so now I can go into, like, say, my shipyard or my spaceport, and I can start building.
Yep.
Alright.
Now, first thing I probably would do is go into your shipyard. You can do this by, while in space, you can click on the Empire Management tab, which is the second or third button down, or you can just double click on the shipyard, which is the one with like the floating thing with blue stuff around it and like launch pads coming off of it. Now, when you open the spaceport interface, you should see a ship designer button at the top. Now, if you click on that ship designer, it'll open up the ship design interface, and as you may remember, it used to look horrible and massive and complicated, and we've simplified it, compacted it, made it like more neatly complicated. Now, what you'll see there is a list of all of the hull types that you have currently researched. Now, each one of the hull types will have a different slot layout, and that's what you see in the little tab there, when it like the weapons, engine, shield, stuff like that. And so what you want to do is just highlight a hull type, and then the wireframe version of that hull type is shown on the left, along with all of the stats of it. For EVE Online players, if you really want to get into the stats, it's there. And we will produce spreadsheets for them and everything. Beautiful Excel formats. So now, after you've selected your hull type, you're going to work your way from the left to the right across the tabs on the top of the interface. So first you'll go to the weapons tab at the very top of the interface, and then you'll just click and drag the weapons into the slots that your hull has.
Alright.
Next, you will just go to the engines tab, put the engines on it, stuff like that. Now, the important thing to remember is that you need to put engines onto your ship, otherwise it is just a floating block of metal.
Good to know. So engines are absolutely a must then.
You can build a ship without engines, which means it'll cost less resources and less population cap, but it's just gonna sit there.
Okay.
So I mean, it's if you're building a space station effectively.
Gotcha. So I don't.
You want to click and drag it onto the right of the interface. You see all those like kind of empty slots. Yep. Those are. I'm sorry, I forgot there was a delay on Twitch.
Nah, it's all good. By the way, Odo-san, if you typed a question, I didn't see it yet. I don't know if Nick answered your question or not, though. So if he didn't, and if I didn't see it, just retype your question. Chat's back up. So.
Oh yeah, I see. Someone asked. I think Odo-san asked the question about how much time would it take to get a decent-sized planet population with average military and a stable economy. Now the thing is, you can produce your initial fleets fairly quickly, and it depends what you want to focus your planet on. Like, from the beginning, I personally don't like having my planets do a little bit of everything. I rather have one planet that focuses on mining, that will be like a rock or a magma planet. You'll typically find a lot more resources there, but they're harder to support populations. So I typically like to work my way like that, where I have one planet that will build all the weapons and engines, one planet that does all the mining, stuff like that. But it would normally take you maybe about a couple of weeks to a month to get one planet to a decent point. And then, of course, it can go progressing much further from there. Now, once the ship design is saved, you're going to want to click the back button, which is on the top left button. Top right button on the screen.
Okay.
It looks like a fast forward thing. Once you click that, it'll take you back to the normal ship designer. Or you can just go ahead and click on the shipyard again. And then at the bottom of the screen there, oh no, you already figured it out. Never mind. And then just click the build button on the bottom right, and it will start just filling up all the build slots for ships.
Okay.
Once you've selected the ship design.
Nice. And are the numbers here how long it takes to build these?
Yes. If you'll notice at the top of the screen, you have something that says cycles, and then it has a countdown from 30 seconds. That's how we've done most of the timing in the game. We tied it to cycles to make it much more server efficient. So if it says 3, that means you have to the server must complete 3 cycles before that unit is built, and you can see the current countdown of cycles at the top of your screen.
Okay, cool. And so I guess in the factory you can build the parts to later build these ships.
And even if you go and click on the factory on the left of the interface, you'll see a little button for the factory. If you go and click on that right now, you'll actually, or just go and click on the factory building, you'll see all the components that are currently being constructed for your ship.
Okay, cool.
And no, for some reason those are all like queued. Well, they're not actually. Why are they not actually going into construction?
Good question.
Typically, like, on the right side is everything that's queued for construction. On the left, everything that actually is being constructed.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and the mine, I guess, builds, gets me supplies, or gets me...
Yeah, you will be needing supplies, resource. It is slot-based ship crafting, slot-based ship design, but also every single component has a CP cost, which is effectively like an advanced form of population cost. So the better you make a ship, the more population cost it will cost.
Rock on.
Someone else already answered it in the stream. It's strange having the feeling of other people being able to answer complicated questions about the game. I'm not used to people understanding like this much about the game like before Kickstarter.
Yeah, no, it looks like there are definitely a few fans of the game who are watching. Yeah. So, yeah, right now, for some reason, it's not moving to the under construction tab.
I'm checking that. I think that our server engineer may be beaten vigorously. They just updated something, maybe broken something again.
Yeah.
We're right in the middle of updating the bug that we found that when we removed the research system. Was an issue with the cycle counter. And it normally manifested an issue with the research system, but we're currently updating the whole cycle system and polishing all that up. So I think you may have updated, like, with the improved version that didn't really do much.
Okay. So let me go back out a bit and let me take a look at the planet from a distance. Okay. So, all right, I see here that my planet is Rocky 7. Does Rocky mean anything, or is it just...
Rocky is the planet type.
Okay, so that determines the source of resources I'll find on there?
Yeah, exactly. So like you have Terran planets, Jovian planets, Rocky planets, Magma planets, Ice planets.
Okay, and will I ever be able to, like, colonize the moons around it?
Yes, you will. That will be one of our soon-to-be stretch goals, mini stretch goals. We don't need a lot of work for that, but there does still need a bit more work. And our server engineer, honestly, I mean, okay... I always take the piss out of him because he's honestly like a brother to me now. I've been working on this for 7 years, but the guy is freaking brilliant. I mean, he did what even EA games themselves couldn't do with $100 million and 40 server engineers, and he did it all on his own. So I mean, that guy, he's brilliant. And as you can see, you can already select the moons and stuff, but you can't actually go onto their surface and colonize them yet.
Right.
So moving around space is WASD, and then hold down middle mouse button to move your mouse around.
Alright.
As you can see, space is also significantly prettier since the last time you played, especially when you're kind of like looking around space, like tilting and panning the camera around by holding down middle mouse button. And yeah, also we added in one of the other cool things to help simplify empire management a bit is if you look at the second tab down on the right list of tabs, will open the empire management window, which will show every single planet you own in every single solar system, organized neatly. And you can also click on any one of those planets to have the camera zoom in on it. Also have it... Our sun is horrible. Don't show the sun. Our art director, seriously, every time we show the sun in a live stream, he just freaked the fuck out. I was like, the sun looks like shit! Why are you showing the sun? So yeah, here's in the planetary management, you can see all the different planets you have. You can also manage them without actually going onto the surface. So you can double click on any one of the planets in that icon list, and it'll just give you a quick rundown in the interface of all the buildings it has. So you can be designing planets, and designing ships, constructing ships, all that stuff just from the interface. So you don't have to actually like build anything or go zoom into your planet if you're busy doing other shit in the meantime.
Okay, nice. Now, what do the
Will you be able to see your cities from, like, outer space? I assume you mean that?
Who, him?
Yeah, okay, so first of all, is there a population limit on planets? Each planet, depending on what type of planet it is, will be able to support so much population. It's not a hard cap, but the more population you gain, the population growth will be slowing down more and more. But... wait a minute. Someone actually has a really good point. Did you build any warehouses?
Me? No. Is that the reason?
Yeah, you built some warehouses.
Alright, let me build some warehouses and let's see if that was just me being dumb as hell.
I don't know if I even told you. Yeah, you may have already filled up your warehouse before it actually had enough components to actually like build the ships.
Gotcha.
Good catch.
Yeah, so I think this is actually my first time in the game, so it's my first time, you know, checking it out. I don't think I got into the infiltrator program back in the day for whatever reason.
Unfortunately, we have one problem where like all of the emails sent out from our like Tailtale servers and stuff always come off as spam. It's really like I'm not sure how exactly we're gonna sort this out, but like so many people, like when we announced that our infiltrator program is going live and everyone's been invited in, like I got about 700 emails saying, "Why the fuck didn't you invite me?" I'm like, "Bro, we did. Just look in your spam." Like, oh, I found it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I got my warehouses up now, and it looks like things might be being built or mined or whatever works.
Yeah, my server engineer is not being particularly helpful right now. He's saying, yeah, there's something that didn't work with the new update I put in. Just try and avoid whatever you were doing. It's like, we were trying to build ships. That's kind of...
It's kind of the big thing about this game.
Why did you break it?
Yeah, so, obviously, yeah, this is all pre-alpha.
Wait a minute. You have no resources. That's the actual way. Build some more mines. For some reason, you spawned with, like, no resources. That may have also been part of the problem. Yeah, when you clicked on your warehouse, you should have a lot more resources.
Alright, let me get like 3 more mines and mine the crap out of this planet.
Do we plan on expanding our studio when we have more money to pay salaries? Yes. At the moment, we don't even have enough money to pay the salaries that we already need to be paying.
Yeah, that's an issue I hear with a lot of indie developers is.
No, the indie development is not easy at all. At all. Especially when trying to build an MMO. That was, I noticed also you're trying to avoid making the yellow sectors overlap. The yellow sectors can overlap as long as the green sectors don't overlap with the yellow ones. So like that, you could build it. As long as the green sectors don't go all red, you're totally fine.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so that... I'm busy like streaming at our server engineers right now. What did they break?
What happened? Yeah. So yeah, let's see. I currently have a bunch of common minerals, some uncommon, and like 30 rare. So
try logging out and back in for one sec.
All right.
You don't need to like exit the whole game. Just log out, go on log in stream, and then log back in. That may sort out your build too.
Okay, so yeah, let's try that out. So like, where'd you guys come up with this art direction, by the way? Like, it looks like you're going for a kind of realistic, sort of gritty-ish look.
I just thought it was kind of like based on the whole style of the game. The whole like style, the concept behind it. It is a more serious game, and you know. Humans in space are kind of gritty. Space is gritty. I don't know. We just... I don't know. I honestly don't know why. It's just kind of what happened.
Alright, let me go ahead and get everything building again and see what happens now. Check out my warehouses. So I have all this back in the warehouses now. And my spaceports are building. My factories, it's all queued still. Yeah. I try to tell you to build.
What the hell's going on?
Huh. Okay, so I can manually tell it to build stuff. So yeah, I was actually pretty impressed with the space thing, by the way, except for the sun. But the background looks nice, and
Yeah,
the
there's a lot of things and there's still a lot of things we do want to add in and improve in the game. I mean, so we're still early off. There's still a lot of things we can be doing that we want to be doing, and that we are doing. And just about every week we do quite a few major updates to the game. Typically they don't break it like they just did.
So my population is 0.
I'm wondering if actually your account was didn't create properly, because every once in a while, typically it happens when you have a corrupted account on the database that you have a population of 0. But you should, but you made a new account before the server restarts. I don't know how it really corrupted. How large is our music store? I think right now it's about 2 hours long, more or less.
Okay, nice. Now, who did you get to make the music for you?
Denny Schneidermesser, which is he's just an amazing composer. We found him on YouTube, and he's just he's incredible. He's a really young guy. He just got into composing about like 4 years ago, and he just became like an instant YouTube hit sensation. And he just makes the most incredible, like full orchestral music scores and stuff. I mean, I am so grateful that we managed to get him on the team to do the full score for Novus.
That is really cool. Wonder if I should try creating a new account and seeing what happens. Because yeah, I currently have CP of 0. I'm mining resources at least. But yeah, I apparently have 0 planet population. Could be this is a corrupted account because I made I think this is an account I made back in April.
It could be. In that case, it's definitely corrupt because we've like redone the database 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, so let me.
Maybe a good idea to go and like delete the Empire and recreate the Empire.
Yeah, so let me delete Empire, recreate it.
That should hopefully work.
If not, I'll just create a new account under a different email address and see what happens.
No, that shouldn't be the issue. It should more be just a matter of deleting your Empire database, your Empire information on the database and recreating it.
Alright, so let's create this, enter, and let's see what happens now. Odo-san wants to know if there's going to be some battle music in here as well.
Consul General.
Oh, here we go. And I have a tutorial thing. So I think that Bleed the Empire actually worked.
Yeah, it did actually.
Alright, so let me drop that down. Drop the factory. Shipyard.
Okay, so yes, there is a lot of battle music in the game and stuff, but it is insanely loud, so the Armor Gamer may have just muted it or turned down the volume. But there is actually, we don't have all 2 hours of the soundtrack in game yet. I think we only have about like 45 minutes of it in, because the last hour and 15 minutes is being still remastered. Like, it's still all composed and written and everything. We're just still remastering it for like much better quality.
Oh shit, apparently the server just went down.
What, seriously?
I just got like forced out of the game and it just saw server is down. But the good news is, it looked like things were actually happening this time. So.
and then our valiant server engineer swooped in to break it. I think he just tried to restart the server.
Okay.
So let's give him 1 minute, but when it does come back online, recreate your account again.
Okay.
Just because when we do update a lot of things, because we're still in early alpha right now, a lot of our updates include updates and changes to the player's database, which we will be reducing that won't be happening nearly as much. after Kickstarter, once we get a lot more lives, so people won't have to recreate their accounts for nearly as much as they do right now. But at the moment, it's still happening a lot because our priority is just to get as much development done as possible, not necessarily make it as fun to play in the meantime.
Right, so I can imagine then you'll be offering opportunities to recreate your account when you introduce new races as well, because I believe you have the thing where it's going to be one account per user.
Yes, we will be offering that ability, and in addition to that, we will be allowing players to save a lot of their Empire information. So if you're humans, you'll be able to save a lot of the stuff that isn't directly linked to a planet. So you'll be able to save like your crews that you've gained at Spion. You'll be able to save like your capital ships that you got and the research that you've unlocked and stuff like that. You won't actually have your Empire, but if you decide to go back to humans, like the big important stuff that you kind of like grinded up to get, you'll still have.
Okay, cool. And what are going to be the advantages of being one race over the other? Is it just going to be...
It's really about how you like to play. Like, for example, humans are the jack of all trades. We can do everything. We have decent military. We have great economy system. We have pretty good research system. We have not bad technology. We're good diplomats. We're really good espionage. Really good espionage race, actually. We have a bit of everything. But, for example, the Veranos, their research system works completely different than the human one, because the Veranos race has actually already researched everything that they will ever research in the universe. Like, they've researched technology to the point where any more research, like, opens up the ability of them accidentally destroying the universe. So they've decided to stop research where they are. But the way to be able to get... Yeah, I know, humans being good diplomats is a bit ironic. But moving on from that. The problem with the Veranos research is that the Veranos, as they're a very aggressive, militaristic culture, you have to prove yourself that you are worthy of the Veranos technology, which means that you effectively, like, gain research by going to war. Now, that sounds like a cool, interesting way to do it, but now think about it. You can't really play as a diplomatic player if the only way you can research things is by pissing people off and destroying them.
I argue that's the perfect way to make friends.
The internet would like to make you believe that. It doesn't always work. IRL doesn't always work. But it's true, IRL. But for example, because of that, okay, Veranos don't make that great of diplomats. You can still try and play a diplomatic Veranos, but do that as an inherent kind of disadvantage to it. Whereas playing a Veranos mercenary is brilliant, because you're getting paid by other players to advance down your own tech tree. It's like it's a win-win situation for everyone.
Okay, nice. So let's see. Looks like I have my mine up. I have a shipyard, a spaceport, warehouses this time.
That's good.
And let me create a vault because I feel like it. And let's get into my shipyard and start designing a ship again. So this time I'm going to make something big and tacky. Get with 2 glow sticks, a Proteus, and thunder rods because I like the sounds of those. Engines. Throw one of these guys in. For some reason I don't have shields for this, but whatever.
Yes, as you did create a new account, and you have like reset all of your research and text and stuff, you have not unlocked any shields yet. You're not cool enough for that.
Oh, okay. Good to know. So I need to be
now,
cooler.
this is a good thing to actually bring up in the research system. All of the races do not use tech trees. There's not a single tech tree or a linear progression pretty much in anything in the entire game. How research works is actually a much more dynamic system, whereas for the humans, you go gaining hypotheses, which are literally just an idea. Like, I wonder what happens if we light this on fire. That's an example of hypothesis. You have no idea what is going to come of that, what that will create, if we'll even create anything. But you can select that hypothesis and tell a research center to start studying that. And what you're literally doing is just paying scientists to light that on fire repeatedly and see what happens. Now, afterwards, they'll figure out that, okay, if we light this on fire, absolutely fucking nothing happens. It's totally useless. It was a waste of money. Or they may figure out that actually, like, it makes a big explosion, and we may be able to use it for some kind of projectile weaponry. And that will be a breakthrough. Now, you can research that, and that will be, you need to research that breakthrough again to try and refine it into a specific prototype. So you go from knowing absolutely nothing of what will happen to having a generic idea of what will happen, and then once you've finished researching a prototype, you'll know exactly what it will unlock in the game. Like the exact stats of the component, everything. And at that point in time, you can decide whether you really want to actually finish this whole research path for this one component, or if you want to just leave it where it is and just forget it because it's not really worth it because you don't like the stats it gave you. Now, what this means is that every other player you come across in the universe will probably have completely different tech than you do.
Okay, that sounds really cool, actually. So is that planned or implemented so far?
That's fully implemented. There's just a bug in it, so we deactivated it right now.
Okay.
Because it was crashing the server, which seems like other things are too right now.
Well, I will admit crashing servers are bad, so...
Well, it's good right now, because now is like the whole point is we're like working on fixing the servers.
Right.
And this is the development server, so every time it crashes, we figure out why it crashes, and it's one more crash that we've just fixed.
Okay, so once I have my first ship built, what can I start doing with it? I think one's coming up soon. Yes, I have my first ship ready. It is balls to the walls.
Okay. Go ahead and open up your factory just to make sure it's actually constructing the components.
Yes. Should be anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's building everything.
Is it? Awesome.
Yeah, no,
it is working. Yeah, okay.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so whatever we fixed on the server restart fixed it.
Okay.
Now, once the unit is completed, now another important thing, whenever a factory completes a component, those components go into the warehouse, so you can stockpile the engines and shields you like to use ahead of time, to save you a lot of production time, also to trade and sell them with other players, stuff like that.
Okay.
Excuse me. So, once your ship is done, it will move from the shipyard to the spaceport. Now, the spaceport is where you will be launching it into space. Like, you already have one ship ready. So you can select it, and at the bottom right, click Launch, and it will launch the ship into space. You can also dock ships onto your own planet through the spaceport, to repair them, to resupply them, to recrew them, or to dismantle them, and destroy the hull and remove the components from the ship. Once your ship is in, you can also click on the bottom right of the shipyard interface. There's a little like round button next to the launch button, which is a auto launch, which means every time a ship is completed being built, it will launch it into space.
Okay.
I recommend clicking that for now, but just remember, if you want to try and dock a ship on a planet to repair it or something, if auto launch is on, it will just automatically launch the ship into space again.
Okay, good to know. So, how do I get back out to space?
Escape, I believe, should get you out into space.
Ask me if I want to log out now.
Oh, that's not right. In that case, go ahead and click the back. No, it wasn't the back button. Click spacebar. Let's change your tactical
There
mode.
we go.
Tactical view mode. Now, actually, I haven't explained this to you. I don't know if we even had this in the build that you played before, or the build you saw at PAX. This is the tactical view mode of the solar system. It is kind of a top-down view. You can zoom in and out of it and see quite a bit. And if you move around using WASD, same way you do in all other elements of the game, and you'll notice that if you go in any direction, more solar systems will just keep spawning. The server is really small, which means that it only has like 3,000 or 4,000 solar systems, which takes about like a month and a half for a unit to traverse.
Okay.
Because it's just one massive map. Like, it's all seamless, like, all the joints between the solar systems, units move between them smoothly and all that stuff.
Right.
Now, if you zoom back in on your home planet, the one that had your ship on it, Okay, so another quick tip: spacebar jumps you in and out of the tactical view mode.
Okay.
And your camera will enter space wherever your mouse is. So, yeah, okay. So, and now, for example, right now you just click space and it'll put you into normal, like, combat mode, which is just like the more zoomed in, typical RTS view.
Okay, so
Do
it's
planet? Someone just asked, do planet move in real time? Yes, they do. They move very slowly, though. If you zoom in really close on a planet, just leave it there for a moment, you will actually notice it moving, and you can see all the orbits of the planets. And the planet's rotation speed is different depending on the size and mass of the planet and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can.
But it means that, like, in 2 or 3 days, when you get back online, your solar system will probably be laid out a bit differently than it is right now.
Okay, nice. That's really cool. So, how do I go into, like, attack another nearby planet if I'm bored?
Okay. If you want to capture a nearby planet, you're going to need to have offensive troop drop pods and offensive troop bays on your ship.
Alright, so let me go back to managing this, and I'll start building stuff that has that. So, I want shipyard, ship designer, hulls, I'll make another dreadnought, weapons. So I want a drop pod, you said?
Yes, you want a drop pod, and then under the bays section, you want a offensive troop transport, I believe it's called.
Alright.
And remember to put engines on.
Yes, yes, yes. So...
yeah. And then with that, go ahead and just, like, name it, like, colonization ship so you can remember what it is. And don't accidentally end up sending it into combat.
Right.
And then go ahead and launch. You're gonna probably want about, like, 5 of those, maybe.
Alright. So... Save as... Alright, and now I go to...
Yes, there are control groups for your units, and you already can set waypoints and patrol and stuff. But we will be adding in much more complicated commands that don't actually fall under the typical purview of an RTS game. That will all fall under the fully customizable AI of your units.
Cool. So, alright, so I can launch fighters and all that with these as well?
Yep.
Nice.
If you put on, like, the fighter bays and stuff like that.
I think I did with these guys.
Yeah, the fighters at the moment, they're not active on the server just due to a couple other bugs. Right now, because we have so many people testing the servers, if something breaks the servers, we just remove it from the game for the moment while we're fixing it. Otherwise, like, the server goes down every 5 minutes. Because we have actually a surprising amount of people playing online. So once those other ones get completed, they'll be launched out into space. Okay, one thing. Units have 3 travel speeds. They have combat speed, which is what you're in right now, which means that your shields and your weapons and engines, or your shields and weapons, are all fully functional. You have travel speed, where if you select the units and press T, you'll notice, like, a little icon come up above their heads, which will increase their movement speed by 5 times. But you have no weapons and no shields, and if you get shot, you drop out of travel speed.
Okay.
But you'll notice now, if you give them an order to move around and stuff, they're a lot more agile.
Yeah, I can see that. They're definitely moving faster than they were. And what's CP, out of curiosity? Is that,
CP is a more advanced version of a population cap. It's called command points.
Mm-hmm.
And that, everything costs CP. The hull, the engines, the shields. So you'll have some... That's kind of how we balance everything out. Everyone has the same CP cap, no matter what level you're on, no matter how long you've been playing the game.
Okay.
And this way we are able to balance out a lot more elements of the game because we can add in really overpowered weapons in the game, like the typical like rare artifacts you find in RPG games and MMO games, but we can balance out by just making them really expensive in CP.
Gotcha. That's actually pretty cool. So, alright, looks like my first colonization ship is built.
Okay. So go ahead and select yeah, go ahead and select that. Make sure to put them into travel speed and then move to the closest planet to you that you'd like to colonize.
Alright. Let's go ahead and get this one, Rocky. Alright, so they are at travel speed. Now, is there any way to get them to use the FTL drive, or is that just...
Yep. Did you put an FTL drive on that ship?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So in that case, while the ship is selected, in the bottom right of your screen, there's 6 buttons. One of the buttons there says FTL. It's a circle with an arrow through it.
Alright.
And you can click on that button, and it should change the cursor, your mouse cursor. And then just click on where you want them to go, and if they have FTL engines, and they have resources to use them, they will just teleport to whatever that location is.
Nice. Yeah, they just did that. Sweet.
Yes, the game does take place on a 2D plane, because what we realized, originally it was full 3D like Homeworld, but the problem is when you have the fact that you have like 200 to 300 ships, you're fighting across 4 or 5 solar systems, and you're fighting with like 200 other players, and all the ships are custom designed with fire arcs and activatables and all sorts of stuff. It became so complicated that like no one who wasn't Korean could even manage to play the game.
Alright, so I think I just dropped troops onto the planet.
Not sure. To drop troops on the planet, you have to select all the ships, and then select the planet interaction button on the bottom right.
Yep.
And then, okay, if you do all that, then probably did do it. Go ahead and, yeah, go ahead and click away from the planet, and then click the planet again.
Alright.
And it should tell you, like, either it say troops engaging, or it'll just say, like, Rocky 17.
It said troops engaging, but now it says Rocky 17, because I think
Double click on it?
Yep. I think
It'll
I'm
take
at
you
the
to the
planetary
surface of the
surface, yeah.
Okay, then there you go. You have just captured that planet. As
Sweet.
no one else owned it, like, there wasn't really, you just had to kill some natives, so it was fine.
Yeah, just some natives. Not important at all. Okay, so...
Honestly, I mean, I appreciate your courage on willing to try and take over that, but you have no idea how complicated full 3D combat gets when you add in fire arts and directional armor. The problem is that it gets so complicated that you can't actually use strategy. You know, you're using like all of your brain power to just try and manage your fleet, and you never have enough free mental energy to be able to get creative with tactics. Like, look at StarCraft. StarCraft is probably one of the simplest strategy games there are, and that's what makes it so competitive and so tactical. Because it's so simple, it allows people a lot of extra, like, mental energy to be able to create creative tactics. Whereas in Homeworld, like, you didn't necessarily have, like, brilliant tactics like you do in StarCraft. Even though it was an amazing game and fantastic, I still play it even today. It didn't promote people to be as tactical and strategic, just because there was so much you already needed to do that you couldn't get that creative with what you were doing. So that's why we moved it back down to solely a 2D plane. And even there, it is still pretty complicated. There's still a lot of stuff to do with flanking the enemies, showing up behind them, ambushing them, all these kinds of stuff, cutting off lines of resupply, all of it. But it made it simple enough that you could play it and you could expand on the tactics.
Nice. Now, there's a planet here that's surrounded by I don't know what this is, an orange circle thing. Is that like a planet that's owned by
another player's planet? Yeah. Notice how you have these blue circles, other players have orange circles.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't have a fortress shield on it, which means that it is not his home planet, which means he actually expanded out and captured that planet.
Okay. And, oh, hey, I guess this one's him then. Because I think...
Yep, that's him.
Alright. So let's see how combat against them works.
For the moment, it works kind of like what you saw before. It's just there's a countdown timer to when your troops fight against their troops, and then whoever has more troops wins. So it's pretty simplified at the moment. We will be adding a lot more complexity to it over time.
Okay.
Every stream wants you to attack him.
Yeah, I'm attacking. Dropping
That
troops.
may be his home planet. I just see a home planet right over there. So that may be like his first planet that he captured.
Yeah.
Typically, we don't promote that. We don't recommend that like everyone immediately attacks the first person they see.
But you know, it's a live stream. The fans demand
Can you
it.
attach home planets? You'll notice that home planets have a blue fortress shield around them, which means they cannot be attacked as long as the player is active. You can also build a second fortress shield. So no matter what, your two most important planets, as long as you're active in the game, will always be protected.
Alright, so my troops are... I have 9 troops engaging in 3 seconds or 3 cycles?
3 seconds.
Alright.
It counts down seconds till the next cycle. And when it just freezes, it just means that the next cycle's changed. Just click away from the planet and click it again, and it'll update the interface.
Alright, looks like I got the planet. So, I'm gonna... Is there any way to...
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is there any way to like build defenses, or do I just leave my forces there as defense?
You'll leave your forces there, and you'll be able to, once you build up some other elements of the planet, like the shipyard, the military facilities, you'll be able to transport more troops from other areas. Someone asked Stretchy about super freighters. Super freighters are a class of ship in the game. All the units that you see on Kickstarter are actually just unique skins that you can use to reskin your ships, so they look a bit different. Also, the skins actually are pretty helpful, because then you can tell the difference. So that, as you saw, there's 3 different kinds of dreadnought hulls that you've unlocked so far, and you'll be designing multiple times. So maybe you'll have like your missile dreadnoughts, your colonization dreadnoughts, this stuff. At the moment, they all just look like the same dreadnought hull. Whereas if you have the skins, you can decide to put this skin on your missile dreadnoughts and this skin on your colonization ship, stuff like that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, now when you're going out to other solar systems, is that like, you know, just longer travel time, or?
Yep. It
Okay.
is just, as I say, it's just one massive map. I mean, if you're going to travel to other solar systems, I recommend FTLing, because the dead space between solar system is quite boring,
Right.
which is kind of the point of it. But yeah, so I do recommend FTLing to the other solar systems. But yeah, you can. I mean, there is nothing separating you or dividing you from all those other solar systems.
Alright, so what I can do is I can just go to my planets and create now. Should probably actually get
Galactic
down.
expansion fleet.
Yeah.
The universe shall be yours.
Should probably actually get down there and start building, you know, a spaceport or something for this one. Actually, like a shipyard too. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna lose all the planets I take over here.
Yeah. Now, someone asked, like, how much information do you have on the enemy ships and stuff like that? By default, the only information you have is what class of ship it is. Now, with different level of scanners, which are stuff that you put in the utility bays, that will give you more, what do you call it? That will give you a lot more information on those ships, and like the even much higher ranking scanners will tell you exactly what components they have and everything. But by default, if you have no scanners, you don't even know what the health of the enemy ship is. All you know is how much damage you do to it. If you press Control X, it'll add in the typical like RPG damage numbers that pop up every time you shoot something. So, but otherwise, if you have no scanners on, you don't even know how much health they have.
Okay.
Can you choose where to focus your armor and shields on your ships? Shields cover a 360-degree angle, but the armor on the ship, that's based on the hull. That's mainly based on the hull. So that, you can't customize it yourself, but there's a large variety of hulls to pick from, and you can just find the hull that has the armor layout that you like the best. For example, the Dreadnought Mark II has horrible flank and rear armor, but has insane frontal armor. Whereas the Dreadnought Mark I is a bit more all-round okay.
on, so I can go build, say, a bunch of defensive guys now.
So, for example, one tactic that we've seen used quite often is people use the Dreadnought Mark II as an anvil, where they just have it facing the enemy and they put no weapons on it even, just like a couple of really cheap weapons, and sit it right in front of the enemy fleet. The enemy fleet gets really busy like shooting at them, and then they have their really fast-moving, hard-hitting fleet that flanks around the sides. But the Dreadnought Mark II is actually a great hull if you can keep the enemies to be shooting at you head-on. It makes like a really good tank unit.
Okay. So, you know, how you position your units is actually going to be a lot more important than, say...
It is critical. How you position your units is critical. It's much more similar to Total War style gameplay, where getting a flank off on someone is very, very powerful.
Okay, and like, how long do you think it'll take before you guys are out of alpha and into, like, say, a full beta?
It really depends on how much money we get on Kickstarter. I mean, that depends on so many other factors. I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably it'll be about 8 months, 6 months, around there.
Okay.
But it really does depend on how much external finance we get and stuff like that, and just how much we can expand the team and get all the other artwork that we need done, stuff like that.
Yep, so again, for people in chat, just to refresh everyone's memory, because I think we have a bunch of new people here, I'm Steven from The Armed Gamer. With me right now is Nieuwoudt. He's a developer at Tailtale Studios who is designing this game. It's Novus Aeterno, an MMORTS that currently has a Kickstarter campaign running. Check it out. I believe it's been linked multiple times in chat, and they're at like 83,000 out of a $75,000 goal, which is fantastic. Go check them out.
84,000.
Huh? 84,000 now?
84,000. Yeah.
Nice. So definitely go check them out. You know, fund them if this looks like something you enjoy. It looks like something I'm going to enjoy immensely once I start to figure this out. You know, I'm fascinated by just how many planets there are, and I don't know if anyone else has played this game back in the day, but it used to be a browser game called Hyperion. It reminds me a lot of this.
There's been a lot of kind of empire building space games that, I mean, you'll notice a lot of features in here from that, and also from other normal RTSs that I enjoyed playing. So I designed the feature list of this game with everything that I wanted to see in an RTS, not with like what I thought would monetize the best or anything like that. So I mean, there's a lot of, especially there was two main MMO RTS games that came out before us. One of us, Mankind, and the other one was Beyond Protocol. Now, they were a long time ago. They came out a good, like, 10 years ago and 15 years ago. But they didn't have as persistent and large of maps as we did, but it still had the element of, like, building on planets and controlling ships and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. Yes, units do have fog of war ranges and stuff like that. Planets also add to fog of war, and different scanners and stuff like that you can put on your ships increase your fog of war range.
So
but remember, that's an important point, because you wouldn't want to put a good scanner on every single one of your ships. It's too expensive. It's not worth it. It costs too much command points. So you'd probably want to focus a couple ships on that. But if the enemy has scanners that figure out exactly what components you have on the ships, he can tell which are your ships that have all the scanners. Which means if he kills those, you don't have any more scanners. It's the same vice versa. You can figure out which are his ships that have the scanners that can tell what scanners you have. Stuff like that. And so it creates a lot of like prioritizing targets and stuff like that.
Okay, and like, are you ever gonna be able to like rename your planets so you could, you know, call them something other than Terran 1?
Yes, you will be able to rename your planets, and Terran 1 will become a subname, because those names are actually the part of the coordinate system. The number is what number of orbit you are coming out from the sun. So it's your Terran 1, which means you're in the first orbit out from the sun, so the closest orbit to the sun. Okay. Terran 3 would be 3 orbits away from the sun. So it gets a lot easier to be able to find your way around things. Okay,
nice. Makes sense.
You're supposed to throw money at the Kickstarter, not at the screen.
Yes, absolutely. Full disclosure, I've already backed this project for $35, so any amount of bias you guys are seeing because I really enjoyed this concept, know that that's backed by my own money as well. I really love grand strategy games. I don't know if you guys can see behind me. I have the board game Twilight Imperium there. I love just grand strategy, massive games. So this is 100% up my alley, and using my full authority as armed gamer, of which I actually don't really have authority, but I recommend backing this because this actually looks really, really cool. So like, you know, what are your immediate plans? Like, what are you working on while the Kickstarter is going on, and what's going to happen once the Kickstarter is over? Are you going to shift focus, or is it just going to be a continuation of what you already have in store?
It's pretty much be a continuation of what we're working on currently. What we're working on right now, development-wise, is the AI, the fully customizable AI, which will probably be in and working, or in and playable at least, before the end of Kickstarter. It's coming along really nicely. After that, we'll be working on, and throughout the whole Kickstarter, working a lot on server performance and stuff, to get it as efficient as possible, hold as many people as possible, because the more efficient the servers are, the more people we can have per galaxy, which is pretty important to us. And then we'll start work on, we'll be finishing up the offline AI, and then we'll start work on the, we'll be adding the stretch goals while we're doing all that. And the main thing with the stretch goals is that each one of the stretch goals are stuff that require an upfront investment to be able to. For example, like the capital ships requires an upfront investment of a lot more work into our architecture, not a lot more, but a bit more work into our architecture to be able to support capital ships, which is our stretch goal, our first stretch goal. But there's other things that we're going to be adding in that we didn't put in as stretch goals, even though they're not in the game yet, but we're still adding them in because they don't really require an upfront investment. We can do it with the resources we already have, we just need a bit more time. So we've focused stretch goals on stuff that we really can't do without your support.
Okay.
You being, like, gamers in general.
Right, right. So, you know, obviously you guys have a super warm reception on Kickstarter already. Like, how many days for this current campaign did you start off with, and how many days, like,
you start off like 47 or 46, and we have like 42 days left to go. So we've been going for about like 5 days, I think, 4 days, 5 days.
Okay, so
and we've like already reached our goal and surpassed it by 10,000.
So beyond your 100,000 goals, do you guys have an idea for stretch, like what stretch goals you're going after?
We have a total of 16 stretch goals fully planned out that we've been wanting to do for a couple of years, and then we have a lot of other stretch goals that we really would like to do in addition to those 16 features that are fully planned out. So we will be adding them more in now and stuff. Just unfortunately our art team is like bogged down with so much work and so many things they need to do that like it just takes them a little bit of time to produce all the pretty graphics. It's playing all of our stretch goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the problem is like we can't produce the content fast enough to like how quickly people are backing us.
And well, how important is a new son to the art team right now?
Oh, our art director just goes freaking nuts about that. Like, our art director, he is a true perfectionist. I mean, like, that's why we have him on the team. He's incredible, but like he hates absolutely everything. Like, everything has to be so much better. And then he hates the sun. Oh, he hates the sun.
Oh, snap!
Like, honestly, he doesn't care. It's like the servers and everything. Like, nothing could ever work. He really wouldn't care as long as the sun looked good.
I think I just saw someone trying to attack my space.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
I saw some gray ships or something moving.
Alright, so that is an unmet player. Gray doesn't mean they're hostile, it just means that they are neutral to you at the moment. Red means they're hostile, which means they've attacked you or you've set them as hostile. And green means they're friendly, which means you've set them as friendly.
Okay.
But remember, how you set people is private to you. This is just like your private orders you give to your own military forces. So you can set someone to friendly and they can still turn around and attack you if they want to.
Okay, so very much EVE Online style where alliances are bullshit.
Yeah. We've put a lot of work in. No, the only thing that is persistent support is an alliance can never turn on itself, and an alliance can never attack other members of the alliance, but an alliance is a max of 15 players. Other than that, there's no server-enforced diplomatic agreements, which means that alliances can try and work together, but they can also turn on themselves and stuff like that. And we put a lot of support in the game for alliances turning on each other to prevent the whole EVE Online nullsec thing where you have a group of like 10,000 people that just lock down the entire area and there's nothing you can do against them.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So, you know, you won't find Goon Squad or anything like that.
You will find them, but there's ways to make them turn on each other. For example, like the whole point of the information part of the game is like, okay, one of the main things they can do is they can cloak a ship as another player's ship if they get close enough with the other player and actually like learn some of his authorization codes and stuff like that for his units, which is an in-game thing. And then once he has that, he could cloak his ship as another player's ship, and so he could then go and attack a member of their coalition pretending to be someone else in their coalition. And you know, when you have a goon squad of like 10,000 trolls, and all of a sudden like some other people that you don't know in the alliance start attacking you, you'll start attacking them back, and all of a sudden you spark a civil war that brings the entire alliance collapsing down on itself.
All right, makes sense. So it looks like someone's saying they want to come in and attack me, which is awesome. I'm ready to lose a planet.
You need to build more ships. You may want to build a couple more factories and spaceports and stuff so you can produce ships. Factories and shipyards so you can produce ships a bit faster. Because you don't have that much right now, and my assumption is you're probably going to need the production speed.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. I should probably also build more mines.
Yes, you don't want to run out of resources in the middle of a war.
Yeah, that would be bad. It's gotta be I'm gonna build the mines of Moria. So, I go ahead and start designing
ships. You're gonna want a lot of variety. A lot of people like they end up building like just the bigger class of ships and stuff because they look cool. Do not do that. You need variety. You need the fast ships, the flank. You need the heavily armored ships. You just need a little bit of everything, just to like fit all the different roles you have. Okay, if you focus on one thing, it's just way too easy to counter.
Looks like my stuff stopped building on me.
Oh no, I think I just saw it build.
Let me see. Let me build another factory and let's see what happens there.
I think you might have run further. Look at your. I think you might have actually started to run low on resources a little bit.
That's very.
Yeah, you really don't have many resources at all, so that's probably what it is. Build a couple more mines, and you'll be able to start producing more resources to be able to get more units and stuff up.
Okay. So let me get that in, and then that there. And we get to my shipyard to start designing shenanigans. So I noticed in my home planet, my shipyard has a bigger capacity. Is that just by nature of being the home planet, or is that something else?
It's just because your home planet has your planetary HQ on it, which has a mini shipyard in it.
Okay.
So it adds another couple of slots to it. If you build like 2 or 3 more shipyards, you'll see even more ship construction slots.
Okay, that makes sense. And what do these different types of weapons do?
Beam weapons do less damage normally, have a bit faster rate of fire, and always hit the target. Cannons do more damage, but can miss, depending on whether you're moving, whether your enemy is moving, a lot of other factors.
Okay.
And then you have missiles, which are much longer range, much slower speed, but always hit and track the enemy. And those are pretty much the main things. Then you have secondary weapons of all those kinds. Secondary weapons do a lot less damage, less range, but have much larger fire arcs. And they're normally better for shooting down missiles, enemy fighters, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then you have, yeah, that pretty much covers the basis of the weapon system.
Alright, makes sense. So, see if I'm under. Oh dear God!
What happened?
There are 41 of them coming my way.
Oh, okay.
So let me take you guys off transport and have y'all go out here. It's gonna be funny. Alright. So I can see his fleet out here. He has them, looks like, pretty decently organized. Whereas I just have a mass of things.
Now remember, you can right-click to give a move order. You can also right-click and hold and drag to tell units to face a specific direction.
Corvette is underway.
Okay.
And or there is full spatial physics when it comes to the movement, so you can tell them to accelerate in one direction and then rotate, drift through the air, drift through space, and stuff like that. And also, if you zoom in on your ships, you'll notice they even have the full, like, the 3D vernier thrusters for stopping and rotating and stuff like that.
Okay. That sounds actually pretty cool. Let me...
The Corvette is underway.
And let the attacking begin.
Ordnance received. Heading to that point.
And how do I order an attack? Or do they just
Go ahead
automatically
and
attack
select
when they're
it.
in range?
No. Right now they're neutral enemies. They're neutral. It's neutral, so you won't actually be able to set. You can't. You won't shoot automatically at them. If you left click on one of their ships, zoom in a bit, and left click on one of them,
Alright.
and then a little drop down menu will show up, and you can select set to hostile.
It looks like there's already a bad going on.
Which means they may have already started firing at you first, which means you automatically set them as hostile.
Yes, so... Attack! So this is combat, I guess, and it looks like all my guys are dying pretty hard.
Bombs are clear. That point locked. Moving out.
The Corvette is underway.
That point locked. Moving out.
And I just lost one of my dreadnoughts.
That's not too good. The thing that you may want to be doing and be careful about right now is that they have a lot of smaller ships, which means the moment those smaller ships start blowing up, their AoE damage may be actually damaging some of your ships, and it could also damage some of their other ships and create like a popcorn effect. You know, when a ship dies, there's a high chance that its reactors will overload, in which case it just creates like a massive thermonuclear explosion.
Gotcha. Now, can I order my ships to all focus one ship?
Yes, just by selecting the left click or right click.
Alright.
We are ready for orders. We are ready for orders.
Let's see how this works. Looks like his ships are just standing there.
Doesn't seem very aggressive, does it?
Awaiting orders. That point locked. Moving out.
Oh, there we go. See what I was talking about? The moment that you get a lot of ships down to lower health and stuff, I forgot there's the delay in the live stream and stuff, but
Yeah.
the popcorn effect that happens if you get like 5 or 6 ships that are really low health, you kill one of them, its shockwave will kill the other 2 next to it, and then those 2 shockwaves will kill another 2.
Gotcha. So if I was to say move this one, that's already dying into the middle of their fleet.
Yes, that would not be a bad tactic.
Oh, okay. So the merchant's just chilling there. He's in chat right now. So you can see, I guess, how his forward shield works, and behind he's a little less defended, which makes sense.
And pretty much, a rule of thumb is that all ships have really weak rear armor.
Alright.
And you have much higher critical chance because you have a high chance of like actually landing a shot inside the engine cowling and stuff.
Okay, nice. That actually makes sense.
For the moment, there is only ramming. We will be adding in, one of the alien races does actually have like ship melee combat. Like they literally are like, I don't know how to explain it, but they can bite your ship in half and like rip it in two and stuff.
Dude, that's cool as hell.
But for the moment, there is no specific ramming damage.
So, will the people who back the Kickstarter be able to get into the Infiltrator program, or is that going to be like another slow roll-in as well?
No, the Infiltrator program, people who backed us for, I think it's $75 or more on Kickstarter, will instantaneously get into the Infiltrator program on the moment Kickstarter ends.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and like we managed to like really work up the system so we can support a lot more Infiltrators right now. So like we're all prepared for them. Well, as prepared as you can be. I mean, as every MMO has seen on every single MMO launch in history, like, everything always doesn't work for the first week or two.
Pretty much, yeah. So now he is finally bringing the pain.
He let you have a head start. That was very kind of him.
It's gonna be painful.
Nav point locked. Moving out. Nav point locked. Moving out.
Alright, so yeah, yeah, stress test day one, but yeah, I should probably start getting more troops going on here, shouldn't I?
Probably should.
Yeah.
Nav point locked. Moving out.
Go ahead and start building more mines. So, as much as I love strategy, I'm apparently really bad at it.
It takes a bit of getting used to it, because it does have a lot of elements that you're not used to in most strategy games, such as the unit design, the directional armor, and stuff like this. So it does take a little bit of getting used to. Yes, FTL will have a cooldown time by the time Kickstarter ends.
The Corvette is underway.
Awaiting orders. Course received. Heading to that point.
And yep, there go all my ships.
We are ready for orders. Comms are clear. Ordnance received. Heading to that point. That point locked.
The Corvette is underway.
Damn!
Ordnance received. Heading to that point. That point locked. Moving out. Ordnance received. Heading to that point. That point locked.
It seems like you bit off a bit more than you can chew.
Yeah, I should not have told him to attack me. He's just kind of destroying me.
Heading to that point.
You're keeping your fleets also a bit too bunched up together. You have to remember to try and like break them up in different command groups. Like you can use Control 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Control 1 currently is reserved for capital ships. We're fixing that though right now. We're unlocking it, so you can use Control 1.
Gotcha.
But Control 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. all works. Actually, we probably even have Control 1 working. I don't know. But yeah, you are going to want to split up your ships, your fleets a little bit.
Gotcha. So let's move these guys.
The Corvette is underway.
That point locked. Moving out.
Ship is badly damaged. The ship's defenses are almost depleted. Ship is badly damaged.
Awaiting orders. We are ready for orders.
Ship's defenses are almost depleted.
Wow, there go all my ships.
Comms are clear. Awaiting orders. Orders received. Heading to that point. We are ready for orders.
So, like, what game would you say most inspired this for you, as far as combat and economy wise? Would that be like Sins of Solar Empire, or?
We've taken out enemy target. Enemy ship.
Not really. Honestly, it's not so much the game inspired me; it was the lack of a game inspired me.
Okay.
Oh wow. Took out a lot of ships there. Yeah, it was much more just the lack of a game inspired me. Like I felt like this is their.
That point locked.
How would I say this? So you know how we figured out that like there was a Planet X, not because we ever saw Planet X, but because of like the effects it had on the other planets. Or it's like we know that there are like 16 more elements on the periodic table, even though we've never discovered them. It's not like it's like there should be this kind of game in the market. Like there is a hole in the industry and in all the games that there are for this kind of game. And so it's like that's what kind of inspired me. It's like that clear hole that it should be there. There should be this kind of game, and then just that's where it really all came from. And there's lots of elements like ship design from stuff like Alpha Centauri, and there's elements of like Master of Orion, and so those are old 4X games. But it really was much more of just wanting to build that game that was really missing than wanting to expand a current game that I liked.
Okay. So, yeah, definitely losing Rocky 17 here. Now what's odd is my factories on my other planets aren't building anything.
You probably didn't give them enough time to build up any resources. Remember, they're starting with absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you know what, fair
So
enough.
it's gonna take them a little time to like mine up enough resources before you can actually even start production.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Sir, we downed an enemy ship.
We are ready for
He's just taking it easy on me now, not even bothering to attack.
He just feels bad. You're seeing your ass kicked so badly. He's like,
Dude, I am. Yeah, so I'm glad the home planet can't die. That makes my life so much easier.
You don't really have anything to lose, and that's also the good point about it. Like, you see, like, okay, this stuff is sped up a little bit. It's sped up in the development server, but still, like, you can really easily go and it's build up, expand out, start fighting with other players, capturing other planets, losing other planets, like right as soon as you get into the game. It's not like you have to go and grind up until level 80 before you can go into PvP and stuff.
Right.
We are ready for orders.
So, yeah, chat, by the way, if you have any questions, you know, again, feel free to ask them. This is Novus Aeterno. Right now, just kind of getting my ass kicked in combat, but, you know, that happens. Obviously, I'm fighting the merchant who's taking things really easy for me, and on the call right now I have Nieuwoudt. He's a developer with Tailtale Games who's designing this game. Again, Novus Aeterno. Go ahead, fund their Kickstarter page. Let me send you guys a link to it real fast. So let me drop that in the chat for you. And yeah, we've been on this call for almost, what, 2 hours now? So
Almost, yeah.
yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about this, or any other points?
I think we pretty much covered most of the major points.
Yeah, hold up, my game just crashed because I tabbed out and was doing crazy shit. So let me try to log back
Yeah,
in.
Alt tab can get a bit emotional at times.
Yes. So let me log back in real fast, so I can get back in and show it. But yeah, are there any other things that you really want to get across about the game, or what any questions that no one's asked you yet that you really want to talk about?
Oh, there's so many, honestly. I mean, we would end up being here all night long. Well, for me, all night long. Well, actually, all the next morning. It's like 1 a.m. here. It pretty much covers the major stuff. I mean, there's a lot of more things that are gone over and touched upon on our Kickstarter page. And I mean, everyone's always welcome to send me a message on Kickstarter and stuff. I am there all day long answering messages. So just feel free to ask me any questions you also have there. And yeah.
Also, yes, thank you, Twin5, for reminding. Apparently, for every dollar you pledge in Kickstarter, you'll get 50% of it back, correct? In
Yes.
Tailtale dollars.
Yes. We made that as a challenge, because like there's no way we're gonna raise all this money in under a week. Like our entire goal and everything. So we made it that we'd up it by 25%, and then while on the live stream, Saturday live stream last night, yesterday, 24 hours ago, we said like we were still like 7,000 short of our goal, and we said, okay, fine, we'll up it by another 20% if we make the money during the live stream, and it just skyrocketed. So that was really cool. So we actually ended up giving away, like, in hindsight, we probably shouldn't have given away that much. But I'm still so grateful that everyone actually really pulled through and helped us pull that off. So that's really cool. And honestly, the most important thing is just to be able to have the back and have the fun and to be able to create the game that we really want to play.
Nice. So now, one selling point you have for this is that you have a retired, what was it? Something
a 2-star major general.
Yes. Now, how much has he been useful to you guys for this? Like, what?
A lot more than you would expect. Not so much in like this exact game design, except for like the fighter system. It's like he helped a lot on that. But a lot more on the information side of it, on the like more grandiose strategic end of like how would you take down major empires, how like he would explain how it would work in real life and real life incidents of like what he encountered, what they teach in the like military academies and stuff like this to up and coming generals. And then with that information, I'd go and say like I'd go put together a document or something. So if it is how it works in the real world, what if we put on these game features to achieve the same thinking from the players? Like the whole point is that the same thought process is gone through to achieve the same end result. Now, how it happens is totally different, but the same thought process is gone through to be able, for example, like bring down a large group of enemies that outnumber you or have superior force, like how to deal with that kinds of things. We promote the same thinking that is used in the real world to combat those same scenarios. And so that was very helpful, and that I still have regular calls with them. We do go through all that together. And that's one of the cool things actually about our strategy guides. Not only are they going to be like basic strategy guides to go over the features of the game, like discuss more in-depth strategies with the game, but it's also like Jim is going to be helping us write all those strategy guides where we go into like the classes that he used to teach at the war colleges, teaching the up-and-coming generals, and all of his experiences, and like referencing historical doctrines that militaries still use today.
Okay, now how did you guys happen to find him? Like,
it was we were originally actually looking at doing some military simulations as well with our server architecture, and so I mean, to get into that industry, we needed kind of like someone on the inside who knew more about it and stuff, and we could talk to a little bit. And ended up with we knew someone who like went to school with someone who was the like sister-in-law of Jim Hunt.
oh wow.
And so like finally after all this, we were able to arrange a meeting with him sometime. And we kind of sat down and just started talking, and he really liked the project a lot, and we just got on really well, and it just kind of grew from there.
Okay, that's actually really cool. So yeah, so if there aren't any more questions or anything, I think this might be a good time to end it with me getting my ass kicked. So unless there are more things you want to talk about on here, but I feel like we're kind of coming to an end. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to get across, or should we just call it a night here?
I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, anything that I haven't answered probably is on the Kickstarter. If not, they're more than welcome to send me a message on Kickstarter. I'd be happy to answer it.
Alright, awesome. Yep, so again, thank you so much for calling, and Twen wants to know if we'll be able to toggle a speed matching feature for when ships are in combat. So I guess faster ships moving together with slower ships or something?
Yeah, when you do group units together, the AI, how the AI works in formations is they set a key ship, and all the other ships will move at the speed and follow the direct orders of that key ship. So that would typically be like the capital ship or whatever, or whatever is your most important ship in that formation, like the keystone to that formation. All the other ships will follow it, whatever it does.
Okay, cool.
Not just like following it in a line, but like all of their positioning in the formation and stuff like that will be based around what the primary ship is doing.
Alright, awesome. So, yeah, let's just call it at that. Again, for those of you watching, I'm Steven from The Armed Gamer, and with me right now is Nick Nieuwoudt. This is Novus Aeterno. It's an MMORTS, Kickstarter currently up. It's been linked a few times in chat. Go, go support them. Go check it out. I think I'm just gonna end the stream here. I believe Alex is gonna be streaming some stuff after. I mean, if I still have access to Novus, it's okay if I stream during the week and
go for it. Go for
awesome.
it. Have fun.
Yeah, so I'll probably be doing some more Novus streams during the week, just so you guys can, check it out, get a better feel for it.
I recommend just, no, go for it. Just remember that, like, we are still updating stuff and stuff, so I mean, don't be surprised if we're updating something or something's not up, but, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Just contact us ahead of time, and we'll try and warn you if we're about to break everything.
Alright, sounds good. So, alright, again, thank you very much for calling, and good luck with your campaign. I look forward to seeing you guys reach all your stretch goals.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, and thank you even personally for your